You're listening to short inspirations from Ralph, Living Beyond Resentment, Part 3. It's marvellous news that we can reset our hearts. It's really diverting the things we care about the most to caring about the things that really do matter. But let's look again at the emotional end of this thing called resentment. Paul writes to the church of Colossae, and in chapter 3 verse 7 to 9, this is what he says in the Passion Translation. That's how you once behaved, characterized by your evil deeds, but now it's time to eliminate them from your lives once and for all. Anger, fits of rage, all forms of hatred, cursing, filthy speech, and lying. Lay aside your old Adam self with its masquerade and disguise. So Paul talks about certain patterns or habits or sins that cut us off from the flow of the river of God, the Holy Spirit. And he says you ought to discard them like old clothes or old rags. He says there's stuff in your life and it's like old rags, you just need to put them off. This metaphor is so central to Paul, it's used 9 times. You just put it off. You can put these habits, these patterns into 4 categories. And we're going to use the acronym RAGS, R-A-G-S. R is resentment, mismanaged anger and bitterness, as we've said. Lack of love. A is anxiety, living in fear and inability to trust and to live in the reality of the presence of God. G is greed. This is mismanaged appetites, the insatiable desire for more, not just money. It's all kinds of things that we could try and shove into our lives greedily. S is for superiority, because if we're doing really well at overcoming resentment and anxiety and greed, we're going to have to wrestle with this one. Because often when a person gets victory over things, they tend to forget about the state that they were in and can put across superiority. So in looking at this rags issue, stuff we need to throw off in our lives, Paul again talks about getting rid of all bitterness, rage, anger. This is Ephesians 4:31, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. But in a few verses earlier, Ephesians 4:26, he says, in your anger, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you're still angry. There's 2 conditions to resentment and anger. There's a use-by date and there's a warning not to sin with it. Anger itself is not a sin, but of course it's what you do with it. When talking to couples who have had some sort of a dispute or argument or it results in anger, I often give them advice, don't let your head hit the pillow at night with it still unresolved. Try and deal with it within a 24-hour period. We can choose what sort of world we live in. It's a choice to remain resentful and angry or to let it go, because negative emotions can become entrenched and established and patterned. Some people are permanently angry or sorrowful. Someone said that holding a grudge is letting someone live rent-free in your head. May you today be a person who makes a decision to throw off the old rags, the old stuff, the resentments, the bitternesses, and let the hand of God, along with your choices, reset your heart and renew your mind. God bless you.